Hello and welcome to my channel, my Facebook page, my website. My name is Desiree Shaw and I'm a psychotherapist and I'm on a mission to change the world one thought at a time. I vlog about mental health and I podcast on a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday. It's Mental Health Month, Men's Mental Health Month. It's a bit of a mouthful. This is when we bring the awareness and the understanding that men suffer mental health and men don't actually talk about it. They're finding different ways to deal with their mental health. 76% of suicides in the UK are committed by men. Men will seek a permanent solution to a temporary situation before they seek a talking therapy. I go through a series of interviews with some men who have dealt with anxiety and depression, different various health issues throughout the Mental Health Month for men. My aim is to raise the awareness and create a platform so that you can identify and understand what you're feeling, if you are a man or any other person for that matter. I do have a focus on men because I do think that men have been forgotten when it comes to mental health due to masculinity, toxicity, if I said that word right, I'm not quite sure, due to the way that we treat men as in whole. You've got to be stronger, you've got to be tougher. You cannot let your feelings show. So in this segment, I am talking about men's mental health, and I'm going to talk about suicide. Suicide. Okay, so I've been doing some research, and suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary situation. I remember being told that when I was studying CBT. Suicide can sometimes seem like the option because it's going to end it now. So many men do believe that being in the situation that they're in, there is no way out. When a person starts taking it upon themselves to believe that there is no way out, what they end up doing is feeling despair, feeling very low, feeling extremely low, sense of loss of yourself or loss of something that you think you should have, or most importantly, feeling like a failure. And when we feel like a failure, we believe that we just haven't achieved. And because achievement is such a huge amount of our human experience on a materialistic level, particularly for men, because men are supposed to be the breadwinners. They are supposed to be the ones that do well. They're supposed to be stronger. They're supposed to be faster. And what if a man isn't? You know, we have a cross between the macho man and the nerdy geek. We have a society now that is placing a lot of emphasis on how cool or sexy it is to be a geek. But what happens if you're not a geek? And what happens if you're not the macho jock? What happens if you're in between and you don't even have a label? What happens if you're just wondering what the hell to do with yourself? And this is where we fall into that place where men don't talk. Because who talks about that? Who shares those feelings? The reasons why men seek out suicide before talking to somebody is because most of the time they don't believe their problems are a problem. And that's a problem. When we don't think our problems are big enough because we think somewhere along the line somebody's got a bigger problem than us. This is a major problem. When we start thinking that, well, it's not worth me telling anybody anything because I don't actually have a problem, or they're going to think my problem's silly, or they're going to tell me never mind. And sometimes we do that. Sometimes we say to people who are suffering with anxiety or depression because we don't know what else to say, never mind. Of course, all right, I'll just never mind. I'll just switch off and I just won't mind. That's impossible when you've got a mental health issue happening for you and you're in the moment. Some people say, don't worry about it. All right, I'll just find the don't worry about it button and switch it. It's just not going to happen. It's impossible to do that because we're human and our minds don't switch off. So when we have a mental health disturbance, we can't just be told, never mind, or don't worry about it, or, this is the best one, it will all come out in the wash. What if it's a really bad stain and it doesn't come out in the wash? What then? So there's like an array of sayings which we can deliver at the drop of a hat because we don't know what to say to somebody who is actually suffering mental health, suffering depression. Men fall under the radar of hiding their feelings because they don't know how to speak. And what they do is decide that there's no way out. There are particular forms of suicide that men seek out which is slightly different to women. Men punish themselves. So you'll probably find on research that when a man attempts suicide, it's not necessarily an overdose. Sometimes it's even more severe, and it's the hanging. And what happens when a man goes to that extreme of suicide? The level that a person has to go through to decide to get a rope and create a noose and go online and look at doing that and hang it and stare at it and recognize that this is what they're going to do. It's not an easy task. And to do that under immense pressure and emotional strain really does trigger a whole load of other factors. So the point of this video is to raise the awareness that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And no matter how bad the problem is, you can find a way of speaking to someone. So what I've done in my website to make life a little bit more easier, so it's accessible, instead of going to a therapist, instead of actually saying, I'm going to speak to somebody first, just go and check your levels. Go and check how depressed you are, how anxious you are, how stressed you are, how angry you are. I'm going to attach the link in the description box. So if you are a person who's worried about your own mental health, you've had thoughts of suicide ideation or suicide. Let me explain. Suicide ideation is when you start thinking things like having thoughts about just not being here. You don't want to be here anymore, without the thought that I am actually going to commit suicide. Suicide ideation is a little bit more playing with the idea of not existing anymore. Planning a suicide is very different. Planning a suicide is about, I'm going to do this to myself. And that's a really dangerous game, because that's a lot deeper and a lot further than actually thinking about not existing. So any thoughts of suicide ideation is a serious issue. Any thoughts of actually planning suicide is even more serious. Men take this extreme when they feel that there is no way out, hopeless and helpless. And you'll often hear somebody say, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't. They'll withdraw, they'll stop talking, they'll stop eating. They might even start giving things away, precious things that they have, saying they don't have a reason for it or any meaning. They don't see the point. Listen to the words, listen to what people are saying, and recognize depression, recognize anxiety, recognize stress, recognize when somebody's got severe anger and they're depressed by it. Because it's important to preserve life. We're all here living a human experience in this physical being, and we all have a right to live and enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the link below. It will take you to my website and it will take you to the questionnaires, and you'll be able to decide and find out for yourself where your mental health is at. My name is Desiree Shaw. I'm a psychotherapist, and I'm on a mission to make therapy accessible and change the world one thought at a time. I need your help to do so. So please like and subscribe to this channel, share this information, comment. Let's have the conversation about suicide. The problem with suicide is we don't like to talk about it because it's so permanent, but the more we keep it a dirty little secret, the more it festers. It's like covering up a wound without treating it. There's no way of healing. So let's start the healing with a conversation. As Bob Hoskins used to say, it is good to talk. Bye for now. My name is Desiree Shaw. Thank you for watching.